Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Delinquents podcast. Today I'm joined again by Shane,
Yo, what it
and
do, baby?
it's just gonna be us today since we did our third, I think it was the third episode on Star Wars predictions and theories and stuff. And now the movie's come out. So basically, if you haven't seen the movie, don't listen to this podcast at all. So we're basically going to just be talking about the movie itself and stuff that went down and what we think about it. So yeah, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this at all. So I think I started off last time. So do you want to start off with some stuff that you have this time?
Okay, well, I don't know where to start. There's so much shit.
I
Like this
know.
movie was, um, less. I was about to just full send and go straight to the end, but we'll just
Chronologically,
we'll just
get there. Yeah.
put that on the back burner. Um, the very first scene, I actually noticed that like the first scene was in the trailers with Kylo like killing all those people to get the Wayfinder. That was pretty cool. I I was like, oh shit, wow. So the beginning of the movie's been there the whole time.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but
That was pretty sick. Did you know that was Mustafar?
huh? How's that Musa? What the fuck?
Yep. So in the book that they released, like for the movie, like the encyclopedia or one of those types of books, he was on That was Mustafar.
How the fuck was that Mustafar? There were trees.
I do not know. That's just what they said. So
Did you like confirm that Ilum was Starkiller Base?
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh shit. Oh,
That had me shook. I was like, oh.
oh god. Um,
Uh, I guess who talk first?
I
You
guess
talk first. I
I
talk
guess
first.
I'll hit some things. So I thought I actually have mine set up more as like a question format, so I guess it'll make more spark of a conversation here.
Okay,
Uh,
fair enough.
all right, so like the gap in time that they have, right? Like so between the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi, there was no gap in time, even though for some reason Ben got swolo in like 10 minutes. But in this, there was like a year break or something. Like
Yeah, I think this was 2 3 years actually.
oh really
Pretty
that
sure.
long? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I felt like that was needed, to really
Yeah,
figure out, like, give them
the
time to.
story for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can clearly see, because, like, at the end of The Last Jedi, like, they had nothing, and in this movie, they had more of their rebellion again.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. But the other thing that I noticed was the fact that they completely, like, J.J. Abrams completely dropped the fact that Rose could potentially be Finn's love interest. I was like, when I saw them communicating throughout the movie, I was like, so are they not gonna flirt? They're just gonna forget that she kissed him? Like what's up?
Like they did a little sucky sucky. Like we're not gonna.
Acknowledge that? Like what's
The
up?
only instance of that was like her like, but Finn, don't do it. But like that could even be just a friendly thing.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
honestly.
Um, so what did you think of? And I thought this was actually kind of cool, like the way that they took this. So like in the Force Awakens, how I'm guessing actually now you could say that Palpatine was potentially bridging their minds instead of Snoke, even though Snoke he had the Force, so he could have been doing it actually. Um, but whoever was doing it when they bridged their minds, that they took it a step further to where they can physically interact with each other. I mean, they kind of did in the
Mm-hmm.
Force, and not the Force Awakens, the Last Jedi when they touched hands, when they touched tips.
Mm-hmm.
But they
I
fought.
mean, it's been Palpatine the whole time. Like
Yeah,
Snoke was just a puppet. Like that's all he was for. Um, like Sidious was controlling him the entire time.
yeah, but I mean, now they can physically. They were fighting, You know what I'm
That was
saying?
a cool scene. They're like switching between the ship and the ground level. That was insane.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Um, and it was just kind of a
That was
step up
one
from the
pretty
Last
cool thing.
Jedi, which I thought was sick. Yeah. What it felt like to me, honestly, like and I wanted to save this for the end. Like I have some extra thoughts that kind of didn't correspond with chronologically what's going on, but I guess this could kind of fit in. It feels like
Hmm.
J.J. Abrams basically gave the middle finger to the Last Jedi. Like everything
Oh yeah,
about it,
he literally counteracted everything in the
everything that
Last Jedi.
happened in it, which I mean isn't the Last Jedi isn't a bad movie by any respect. It's just that I think that they took it in story wise, they didn't take it in the best way that they could have.
It didn't progress the story any for the characters
No,
besides Ray.
exactly.
Literally, Ray, I feel like is the only one that had some acceleration in her story, whereas everybody else,
Hmm.
the only thing that changed was there was less people around. Like there was no like training or anything like that. So
Exactly. And I did like actually I'm not gonna flex. I really liked Rey's outfit in The Last Jedi. Her like Jedi outfit or whatever.
it did go hard.
It did go hard. I'm not a huge fan of her not wearing socks and having the, 3/4 length pants. I'm not a huge fan. Um, but yeah, it
Stop
just
wearing capris. It's Star Wars. You don't need capris. Chill out.
but that's what it felt like to me. Like the movie was just poo-pooing almost everything about The Last Jedi. Like it didn't happen almost. Um,
Yeah,
but um, yeah. So Rey finding out she's a Palpatine.
that that was. I love how all the leaks were true. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
I know. I actually
It's true, all of it.
I saw the leak on Reddit on my way to see the movie. I was like, frick, dude. Like, I almost went this far without seeing any leaks when I saw that. And I was like, I just hope it isn't true because then it'll ruin it for me. But it was, and I was still like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah, it didn't ruin it for me. I thought it would because I was like, dang, I didn't like the way it sounded,
Rey
but like
Palpatine.
seeing it,
Yeah.
like the way they did everything, and
Hmm.
um, it did still piss me off that she called herself a Skywalker. That did kind of piss me off.
Yeah.
But
And then the Force lightning in the desert. Oh my god, that was sick. It was sick.
okay, that had me shook. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was pretty tight. I'm not gonna flex. Like, it's cool to see someone using it. It's more like, and it kind of ties in with her lightsaber at the end. You know that she can dabble in the
Mhm.
dark side. Like Mace Windu had a purple lightsaber because he dabbled with dark side usage,
Mhm.
but he didn't let it control him. People were calling her lightsaber color golden, but there isn't a golden colored lightsaber unless Disney's for some reason
Yeah.
creating one now. It was more like I think I put like an orange or an amber or something like that. Which is, but
Mhm.
actually, oddly enough, when I take all my lightsaber tests, that's the lightsaber color that I come up with. So,
I get blue every time or red. I don't know why it's that like different. I get blue or red.
it depends on what time of day you wake up, really. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you had a rough night, then, you might be
I'm
dabbling.
feeling a bit Sithy today. You know.
Yeah, I might have a Darth duty when I wake up. So,
um, one part that really got me, because this is more of like a general consensus of the movie that like the lightsaber fights were really, really good. Like there was a lot of them, and they were
yeah,
all really well done.
they were
Like,
improved for sure.
okay, like Kylo towards the end when he's fighting the Knights of Ren, and Rey like puts the lightsaber behind her back and he gets it. Oh my god, that he went off.
He did.
That was
The one thing that was
that was
another.
probably my favorite. Like,
I feel like the lightsaber fights in this, like, let me put it this way, my personal opinion, and like you can agree or disagree, whatever. I'd love if you disagree, we can talk about it, and see what your
mhm.
thoughts are. But my top three lightsaber duels of all time, number one will forever and always be Anakin and Obi-Wan, forever and always.
It's always
Because
that's
it's so fast paced and it really describes what Jedi are. Like they were in their prime, and they are masters of their forms. You know, Um,
That and it even the fight itself, if you really look at from the music to like the way they're fighting, you can see how like Anakin goes more towards the dark side, whereas
yeah,
Obi-Wan's like trying to help him, but then towards the end, Obi-Wan's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to help this fucker.
yeah. And then second one, Duel of the Fates for me. I thought that fight was just great. Um,
Wait, which one? Because there's two Duel of the Fates fights. There's
oh
Yoda and City, and
no,
there's Qui Gon.
Qui Gon, Obi Wan, and Maul.
Okay.
The next one for me, I don't. I would have to think about it, but those I know I said top three, but I totally can't even think of what my third one would be. But it's all prequels, like for actual lightsaber duels.
Uh-huh.
For intimacy fact and not off of skill, I would probably say Luke and Vader in Episode 5. Before he gets
Mm-hmm.
his hand cut off, just because of the intimacy of the fight. But I mean, it's not a crazy skilled fight. It was more like Vader egging him on.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like the fights where it's more like technical, like they're really showing off skill, like with the Anakin and Obi-Wan one.
yeah.
There's not because it has both the emotion side of it, but it has like a lot of the lightsaber fighting. That
Yeah.
shit goes hard.
But
Like,
my point was is that like I think the sequels in skill is in between the prequels and the originals. So it's not as great
yeah,
as the prequels, but it's kind of there. And I actually felt like Kylo Ren, his fighting was like 10 times better than Rey. Like he didn't look like he was extinguishing any effort when he was fighting her. You know, like he
that's what I was hearing. Like in this movie, like or in the Last Jedi and the Force Awakens, Ray, in the Force Awakens, Kylo thought he was stronger than Ray. In Last Jedi, they were about the same. You
yeah.
can see that when the lightsaber blew up. But I feel like in the Rise of Skywalker, I feel like Kylo was exponentially better than her.
Oh my
I
god,
feel like
yes.
it's just like because the only way she was able to beat him was with Leia doing her
Mhm.
sacrifice. That was the only way because Kylo was working her shit
Yeah, no, he totally would have fucking murked
with
her.
no effort. Like when he just walked through the water and he just flipped the lightsaber around. Yeah, he wasn't playing.
I mean, you could even see it like when she would swing and he would just dodge and then stand there, like or
Oh, okay,
walk.
okay. When she after she fought the dark side Ray and then started fighting Kylo, he didn't even pull lightsaber out for a good 5 minutes. He just dodged every single one. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, Kylo Ren was definitely way more experienced in this movie and prepared. Um,
Yeah, because he definitely was. I like him a lot more now than I did in the previous movies because he was like how Anakin was, where Anakin was whiny, and then Anakin like transcended that.
mhm.
Kylo transcended that, and Kylo was like really badass in this movie. Actually, like I
No,
fucked
for
with him.
sure. So here's one thing I wanted to touch on. So in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
they briefly brushed over. Do you remember when they went to whatever the planet is with the Death Star and the black girl with people on the horses, and they were all ex stormtroopers?
Yeah.
Like they gently graced that in that scene with them on the Falcon where they were talking, or not the Falcon, the other ship, whatever, that they started talking. He was like, "You're a stormtrooper too," and she's like, "Yeah, we all are." And she was like, "When it came to shooting, we all dropped our weapons. It was just a feeling, right?"
Uh huh.
And so I was like, "Okay, like, are they just gonna leave it at that?" Like, and they did. They ended up just leaving it. I was like, "So, like, what are you insinuating that later on, like, all the stormtroopers are gonna drop their weapons and like turn on the final order? Like, what's gonna happen here?" And then they
No,
just
I
didn't
feel like
touch it
what they
at
meant by
all.
that was it was what they meant with that was it was a feeling like they knew they couldn't do what they were asking them to do because they were asking them to kill innocent people and they
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
So
But with Finn though, they did he did say like when they said something, he was like, "I just feel it" or something like later on in the movie, and that was like directly saying like, yeah, he knows how to use the Force, and I
yeah,
caught that and I was like, he's definitely got to be Force sensitive, and sure enough,
no,
they
they did.
confirmed it
They
like the next day.
confirmed it. That was what he
But
wanted to talk to Ray about, supposedly.
yeah,
And I was hoping it was gonna be
but
like, "Ray, I love you," but no, "Ray, I can use the Force."
which means not everybody was wrong then, because a lot of people were speculating before Force Awakens that Finn was going to be Force sensitive.
Yeah, I think that was
But
a nice little touch. They didn't have to put that in. They literally could have, like I said, they could have taken it to where it was him wanting
that's
to
a
say that
nice
he
little,
liked her.
like, they're coming back. Like, the Jedi are coming back. But,
Yeah,
I don't think that can stay forever because, the Force is going to be like, yo, there needs to be Sith.
yeah.
But,
It was cool seeing like Luke and Leia's training. I mean, it was when they were younger.
yeah,
I mean it.
actually, that was cool. I didn't see that coming, and I like the way they did that.
I mean, it
Because
was
I thought they were going to.
CG'd, but I actually didn't mind it. So
Well, yeah, because that was good CGI. I mean, I don't mind CGI if it's good. If it's bad, then, get this shit out of my face. Like,
no,
it
for
wasn't
sure.
bad because, for one, it was dark. So they had a little more leeway with that because it was dark.
Hmm.
Um, and, with what they did with Rogue One with Leia,
Hmm.
they did, like, really well with that.
I mean, Leia was actually kind of going off on Luke a little bit.
Right? Like,
I'm okay.
Leia snapped.
So I'm
She
not gonna
went at him.
lie. Out of the whole movie, out of all of the pre or not prequels, the sequels, that little snip of fighting between Luke and Leia was the best
Mm.
technical fighting that I had seen throughout all of the originals. That was the closest to the prequels I had seen it. Like they were actually fighting, like fighting with technique, not Rey and
Mm-hmm.
Kylo just swinging at each other. Well, Rey swinging and Kylo blocking.
And Kylo dodging and
Yeah,
toying with her.
like it literally looked like almost Jedi fighting, which I thought was sick. But it was a cool little like scene that I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool to see. That like Leia actually started training as a Jedi. Like that's what everyone wondered. Like why didn't she just start training as a Jedi? And now you have your answer
Yeah.
because she has Force visions and she could see that her son would become evil.
Yeah, that really like helps build her character more for as a sequel character because like as original trilogy character, Leia's established. Everybody knows who Leia is and knows what her deal is. And in this, it felt like they just made her a general. They didn't really give her more story implication. The only thing is her son turned to the dark side, but she didn't really have much of a hand in it. But now that they made her like train Rey, that like that helped make her character more relevant for me in
Yeah,
this trilogy.
it made it come full circle.
Yeah,
And really bringing it full circle is Carrie Fisher's send off as Leia and how they handled it. It was, I know everyone was like, how are they gonna do it, and I thought this was actually a perfect way.
yeah, they did good, and I'm actually glad with the way they did that. It because it didn't really make the character like it wasn't a bad send off by any means. It didn't like undermine her character at all. It was a good way for her to have a little selfless act and uh, help Rey, and inevitably that made Kylo turn. So
Yeah, and the whole little cameo for Harrison Ford coming back as
I was
Han
about to say
Solo.
that.
That
I was
was
about to say that.
that was perfect.
How is that a thing? Is that I don't know because Han was not force sensitive. So how does that work?
I don't know. They're gonna have to explain it. Maybe like it was
or maybe it really was a memory. Maybe that wasn't him talking. That was just Kylo's feelings and emotions playing with him.
it was
Really, like I
probably
don't.
was because of his mother, and then the
Yeah,
fact that Rey healed him. So I think all of that kind of got to him, and he's always been conflicted.
yeah,
So, but I thought it was a great send off on their part, on Disney's part. I will say. Um, so the other thing that kind of bothered me actually is and then I'll let you hit on some things because I've got like one bulletin point after this with a bunch of ones
mm-hmm.
underneath it about just the final parts of the whole ending. So I'm gonna just do this one. Hey guys, it's Ryan here, just taking a quick break. We had a really weird issue with some audio and it cut out, so we had to start the recording again, and for some reason, the audio sounded a little bit odd for this. But we're going to try and get this fixed for the next one. But turn your headphones down just a little bit, and hopefully this will all work out. Anyways, back to the podcast. So one thing I wanted to bring up was like the lack of the Knights of Ren. Like I felt like you had them throughout the entire sequel trilogy, and then you bring them in like right at the end just to get like murdered by Kylo Ren. Like that was kind of pointless. Like you didn't really use them to their fullest advantage, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like they could have been really cool because I know they used the Force, but not like in the sense of a Jedi or a Sith. They used it kind of. Can't really explain. They didn't use it directly like they use the Force like Force push or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a spirit kind of thing. I'm guessing.
I
I
thought
can't
that
really
they
remember.
were the ex-students of Luke, though.
They were, but they didn't use the Force like that.
Got
Like they
it.
didn't use. I'm guessing because of that whole event that they didn't want to.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, but they felt kind of just like why are they here at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
all right. Well, I will let you take over now because I've been pretty much just asking all the questions and stuff. So you can start doing your stuff, and then I'll hit
Okay.
mine at the end.
Mm, let's see here.
I feel like we had very similar stuff.
Yeah, we've really touched on a lot of the same things. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything in the movie I missed. I don't actually don't think there are any because we've touched all the main topics of the movie. I'm thinking. Uh, oh, okay. The situation with her parents. Um, I feel like what they did with that was a little too ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like okay, Palpatine had a son. Why didn't we know about that? That's kind of something even people would have known about during the prequels. Like I don't understand. Like who is his son? Is the son even that important? Like I don't. To make her parents a nobody, you have to actually make them a nobody, not like have them have their parent be the fucking Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand that at all. Um, like I feel like that could have worked out a bit better if they would have just made her parents like just fuck Obi-Wan. If her fucking dad was Obi-Wan, I'd take that. I would accept that because that would make sense.
No, yeah, I totally felt the same way. It did feel a little bit like this is the route that you went with.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that kind of, I mean, that's a whole nother example of Disney undermining everything that they did in The Last Jedi because he literally went like, your parents are nobody. And she saw it like her parents are nobody. Uh, and then in this movie, bam, he's Palpatine's granddaughter. Or, you know,
It's like, whoa, what the
all right,
fuck?
that's a step up. All right, we can
Who's the
work with
mom?
this.
Like, who the fuck was the mom?
I mean, is she a Kenobi? Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like,
It just felt like it was like, okay, I guess you can do that. That's fine.
unless Palpatine did the whole like force impregnate thing,
I could see
maybe
that,
I don't know.
maybe. I mean, they were screwing around with the midichlorians originally, and that's
Except
why
it's a
Anakin.
couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it's just a couple chilling, and then all of a sudden the wife's pregnant, she's like, "What? We weren't trying." Like, oh, what? We don't even have sex. How the fuck? Well, do
Yeah,
that.
that would make more sense. But, I mean, but I don't know. It just felt very lackluster. So,
Could have been better.
yeah. What else you got, Chief? What else you got? Hit me with the info.
I don't think there's any others really. I think we hit like all the same points really.
Pretty much. Wow, look at that. We're on sync, boy.
That's excellent.
All right, so let's dive right into the final confrontation of the entire 9 movie series. So
God, there's so much even with that.
I
Like I
know
don't know where to
it's
start.
I mean with let me start with Ben and Ray when Ben was fighting the knights and Ray was in there getting seduced by Papa Palps. Um, like when Ray was fighting with the second lightsaber in the room and Kylo was fighting with the lightsaber against the knights, like Ray's was pretty boring to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, okay,
I actually
she's
didn't really pay attention to that at all. I forgot that even existed.
yeah,
I was paying attention to Kylo's because he was doing all that spin shit like his old grandpa.
yeah, exactly. But uh, I mean, like Ben was doing a lot of the fighting, and then Ray was just kind of there, like, oh hello, I exist, you know. So I was like, okay, I guess you can have her fight people. I mean, if there was actual guards or something coming to attack her, and not just people with blasters, then that would have made more sense. But it just felt kind of lackluster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much happened.
I
Like
know.
so much shit happened at the end.
I know. Oh, okay. What do you think about Rey and Kylo like having their energies pulled by Palpatine?
Oh, the whole like energy sap thing.
Yeah,
Uh, that was
like Darth
that was a
Nihilus.
good way to like give that vibe of like, damn, this might be the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that was crazy. I was like, oh shit, the fuck's gonna happen?
No,
Um,
it was sick. I loved it.
um, and it makes sense too. Like, I like how Palpatine like rejuvenated a little bit.
Well, I mean, he pulled from two of the strongest bloodlines ever, a Palpatine and a Skywalker.
He crossed the streams basically.
Yeah, he really did. And so that's why he was so powerful. Like when he shot that whole burst of lightning into the sky. Oh my god.
Okay, I don't know if your movie theater did it, but was it like the hardest bass you've ever heard?
Yes.
Like, it. I was shook.
It was it was powerful. It was that was probably one of the coolest acts of force using that I've seen. Like just the fact that he shot that beam into the sky and it started like electrocuting all of the planes or the ships. That was crazy. Um, the one thing that I try not to complain because see the problem is when you see a movie and you're a hardcore fan, like when you sit back and look at the movie, it was great, but you're always going to be slightly dissatisfied because you're not the one who made it, so it's not your vision, right?
Yeah.
So, and like they still did everything great. Like they did a good job, and I'm of course I would have them change things, but like the one thing that I really was like, you could have done this, and you've had people saying it, and I think partially what it is it might be the CEO of Disney because I just saw something on YouTube or Reddit or something. He was like, "Yeah, we listen to the fans, but we don't indulge too much on it." I was like, "What the fuck? Don't you want a successful like
It's
movie?"
like the whole point of the making a movie is like a sequel movie is you want to appeal to the fans. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the main base of people that's going to be watching it. You're not going to have um yeah, there's new fans. I think they said they wanted to appeal to the new set of fans this
Yeah,
for this trilogy, which makes no sense. But
I know it's and that's a whole nother bag of weeds. I mean, we could get to that in another episode of just Star Wars drama. I could do a full episode on Star Wars drama.
literally, I swear.
Um, but we'll save that for another time. Maybe that'll be a cool podcast to do. But like the thing that I was like, okay, well, what's up with this? Is I thought it was great. Don't get me wrong. When the voices started talking to Rey, like Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi Wan, both Obi Wan versions, Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness, when they were, get up, 1,000 generations live in you now, everything. Like when I heard Hayden Christensen's voice, I was like, oh shit, this is
Dude,
real.
yes,
This is real.
I was
You
hyped.
know.
I was
Um,
I'm glad they at least got that in there.
I
That
know
was pretty
it
cool.
was it was nice to hear the voices and it was intense, the way that she got up and everything. But it would have been nice to like I think I brought this up when we were doing the the not review the because we're doing the review right now, the theories and stuff. Um,
Mhm.
that it would have been cool to see like a Harry Potter where like all the people come to her before she does it. So like while she's there trying to get up, like the Force Ghost of Anakin, of Obi-Wan, of Yoda, of Mace Windu. It would have been cool to see Ahsoka, but whatever. Can't push your luck. But like all of these Jedi that
Mhm.
you hear, like to see their Force ghosts, or even like when she stands up and she says, "I have all the Jedi behind me," to have them all behind her or something.
Yeah, or even if they couldn't do that, at least at the very end, when you see Luke and Leia, just throw Anakin and everyone over there too. Like,
Or
come
even
on,
Kylo Ren. That would have been a great nod.
because he disappeared.
That
He
would have been
disappeared.
that would have been a great nod to episode 6 when Anakin finally joins them.
But nope, they fucked that up. That's. I feel like they could have done that, and that should have been done. But
Yeah, I know that would have been a great nod, and it would have that would have been like, oh, okay, that really tied it together. Like that was a cool nod to the originals. But I mean, that's why I said like you can't beggars can't be choosers. I mean, it was still great that they had the voices, like that they had the actual people like Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. It was still great that they had them, but and it's crazy that they tried not to make the hype of it, but they did at the same time of like having Hayden Christensen at talks and stuff, and he played the most minute, smallest role ever. He said like 2 lines. That was it.
yeah, they should have had him as a Force Ghost. That they took that out, and they shouldn't have, because that's it's supposed to be about him anyway. So it honestly, in all reality, should have been maybe Anakin Force possessed her, I guess, and didn't finish the job through her, because it's like she's cleaning up a mess, but like at the same time, Anakin did bring balance to the Force. So it's
Yeah,
kind of, I don't know, it's confusing.
and the thing is they never really explained how Palpatine got there. Like okay, we get it, he survived, but like, what did he
How?
like? How did he get from there to there when the Death Star exploded? Like Sith can live on through their hatred and survive for a little bit, but like what happened? How did he survive that? They didn't really explain it, which I thought was a little whack. But you know, there's only so much they could do. And then Rey using both of the lightsabers to disintegrate Papa Palp's Episode 3 version. That was that was sick.
That did go really hard.
When she bounced the lightning back at him, Mace Windu style.
Dang, but this time he couldn't. He couldn't do any finessing. He just took it.
I know. He just was like, all right, this is it. You would have thought he would have just stopped, but no, he just kept going.
I don't know.
Surely if I zap her with
Maybe
more
he got off.
lightsaber, surely if I zap her more, she'll stop.
Hey, maybe he gets off to it.
Um, so here's an a funny question. How long do you think it's gonna take saber companies like Saber Forge, Vader's Vault, and all those kinds of things to come out with Leia's lightsaber?
I guarantee you they're already working on it. I promise you, it's gonna be out maybe.
A month,
I'm
the
gonna say
maximum.
by March. I'm gonna say like by March.
Yeah, because I know Saber Forge has a version of they've had it for a while now of the Episode 9 Rey's lightsaber. Not the one at the end. So I guess I can call it. I guess I'm gonna call it the OG lightsaber or Anakin's lightsaber. Um, so, but yeah, and so this is a very unpopular opinion, I'm sure, but I was not a huge fan of Rey and Kylo Ren kissing. I don't
I
know how
don't
you
know how I
felt about
felt
that.
about it. I guess like it was coming, because they did kind of have a whole they kind of have a little thing going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, she's like, "Can you put a cow? Do you have a cow you can put on or something?" And he's like, "No." Like,
no.
there was some sexual tension there. They wanted to get the rocks off.
I mean, they wanted to
Um,
force push each other.
yeah. No. I
But
don't know. I didn't really mind it, and I knew it wasn't gonna last anyway, so that's why I didn't mind it because I knew Kylo was gonna die. There's no way he was gonna survive that. It was obvious he was gonna just give his life to everyone,
yeah,
and the leak said that.
but I mean, I guess so. Here's the topic of that. Like maybe why he didn't show up at the end is because you have to be trained to become a Force ghost. You know, like that was the whole thing in the Clone Wars when Yoda went to that planet, and Obi-Wan learned it when he was on Tatooine. Qui-Gon Jinn somewhat learned it, um, but like
I thought that was not to become a Force ghost, but to that was to communicate before you die with the Force ghost.
no,
That was
I
to
thought that was the actual training to become a Force ghost.
because they literally say like if you're one with the Force, that's how you become that. It's not like you just become one with the Force by being like you're one with the Force, like you're completely good, and there's resolve, and you become a Force ghost,
So if you're one with the
essentially.
Force and the Force is with you,
Yes.
um, maybe. I mean, I have no idea. I would have to really kind of look into it. But I was gonna say, well, maybe that might be a theory as to why he wasn't a ghost at the end. Um, but if
Because that sounds like training that Anakin would have never went through yet. Because
exactly,
Anakin wouldn't have gone through the training of becoming one with the Force yet, because he was still
but
going through everything.
then again, he's the chosen one, so maybe he just gets the right to do it. Like,
Mm,
I mean, you kind of brought balance to the Force, and you're kind of the OG, so here, just take it.
but at the same time, I feel like because Ben just did it. Like Ben was in the middle of fighting, and he just accepted it, and then
Yeah, he just went on.
yeah. So I feel like it's not like the way to do it is like you just if you're one with the Force, then you end up going to like you become a Force ghost, but um there has to be complete resolve. There can't be like you're kind of on the good, you're kind of on the bad, because Kylo would have never been a Force ghost because he was like half and half, but
Yeah,
like right at the end, he was he was completely good, and he obviously never went through that training because he was a Padawan, so he never learned that training, but he knew how to do it. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And then he became a Sith Lord or whatever, a Supreme Leader.
And you wouldn't learn that as a Sith. That's not something a Sith would learn. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what it was.
Although Palpatine did figure out eternal life, so shout out to him. Uh,
Palpatine, he figured it out. Although it didn't last forever. I swear, if he comes back again,
that's it. We're done.
I'm done.
Uh, all right. So I know we already brought it up, but what do you think of Rey's like? I'm not gonna call it golden lightsaber. I think that's bullshit. Like just her lightsaber at the end.
I thought it looked pretty cool. It was a little play off of her staff. That was pretty dope.
To bring it full
Um,
circle.
I wonder if it's dual bladed. It has to be. It has to be double bladed. There's no way. Like it. It
Well,
looks
it didn't look long enough though. Like maybe it can
well.
attach to the staff
Who
and then it
they
becomes
never
dual bladed.
confirmed that it has. Like nobody ever confirmed though that it has to be that long. Like I wonder because like they just happen to be that long. So like I
Yeah.
wonder if maybe that one is just like it is double bladed because it
Mm-hmm.
looked like it had two emitters on both ends.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty sick lightsaber. I'm not gonna lie.
I might cop one honestly.
It was pretty sick. So you brought this up earlier, but I'm gonna bring it up because I know it'll get a rise out of you. Uh, but what do you think about Rey calling herself a Skywalker? Let it out. Let it
That
out. Let it out.
horror, horror. um, I just what the fuck?
Not a huge fan.
What? I just don't like. Yeah, just I'm gonna identify as a Scott. You know what? I'm a boss now. Yep.
I mean, you basically are. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like,
Basically.
I mean, in a
But
way.
like, it's dumb in the sense that like she just kind of picked it. I mean, I see why they did it because she's a nobody, but still, like, it's you don't just identify as whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Did she
really
like? Did she mind marry Kylo? She's like, yeah, I really liked Kylo and I kissed him once, so I think that was our marriage kiss. So like, I'm a Skywalker now. Like,
that
is
was
that how
a
that's going?
that would actually be really good. Like that's a good explanation. That's what I'm gonna tell people. Well, why does she call herself a Skywalker? Well, she kissed him and was like, I guess I'm a Skywalker now. So
Fucking fangirl.
I know. Um, so then who? I mean, I haven't read anything on this, so I don't know what the community says. But so what Skywalker rose then? What was the rise of Skywalker? Was it Ben being his redemption, or Rey becoming a Skywalker? Because regardless of if we like it or not, she's calling herself a Skywalker, therefore she is one.
hmm
So, but
Um.
the argument that I have against Ben is that Ben's a solo. I mean, yes, he has Skywalker lineage, but he's a solo. He's not Ben Skywalker, he's Ben Solo.
He's still Skywalker technically, though.
No,
Like,
his lineage
even
is
if the name,
Skywalker.
even if the name doesn't carry over, you're still that. Like, that's like my grandma. Like, her last name's not Koito, but that's like my name. But like
Mm-hmm.
her, uh, like her maiden name is still gonna be like that's still technically
Part
my
of you.
family name. It's
Yeah.
not the one that I go off of right now.
Yeah. So, so what would you say? Which Skywalker rose?
Fuck. Still don't know. There's a difference between what I think it is and what I want it to be. I think I'm gonna go with. I think it's Rey because I don't know. They really want her to be the center of this trilogy. So they really want her to be the center of good in this trilogy. Like, so I feel like it's her, but I want it to be Kylo because I honestly feel like Kylo should have been the one to do everything. I feel like Kylo should have turned to the light. I feel like Kylo should have been the one to kill the Emperor because it's the Skywalker saga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he should be the one to do it because he's the only blood related to Skywalker. I feel like Rey. No, the better way the ending should have went was Rey should have given in and killed Palpatine and been like, "Oh shit, now I'm really powerful." But then Kylo steps up and uses that mighty Skywalker blood to kill him. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like the story was about Skywalker until the sequel trilogy, and then it's just about Rey.
Yeah, I know. Um, so I'm probably gonna have to say the same. That's my feeling is that it means Ray. Um, but I feel like yeah, it definitely should have been Kylo Ren. Now we could both be wrong and it is Kylo Ren, which would be great, but uh, I don't think that that's what they meant by it. Um,
Sadly, and because it's weird because like there's no they set it up to where it could have went perfectly. Like it could have been like, yeah, Rey doesn't know who she is, and then she turns to the dark side, and then Kylo turns to the light, and they could have done a complete flip, and I would have been fine with that because it's like they just gave up on Skywalker and like they redeemed the Palpatine line. They made the Palpatine line the good side now. Like
yeah,
what?
exactly. Um,
I don't.
I will say that I only have like two more things to hit on actually, believe it or not.
Uh huh. I
So I'll
think I've
probably
done
just hit on
everything.
those, and then if you have any more, we can hit on them. But I mean, otherwise, I really actually don't have much.
Okay.
Um, so the last two I have are kind of just little extra topics, but
Mm-hmm.
it really, and the last one's more just for funsies. But it really felt like in this movie, they really went back to the old format of having the three protagonists come together. Like in the old ones, it was Padme, or not in the well in the first one. Let me put it that way. When I say old ones, I should mean the original trilogy. So they had Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. Then you had Luke, Han, and Leia, and they had their moments where they were all together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this really felt like that. Like Poe, Finn, and Rey were all together in this movie. You know,
Yeah,
like doing the actual battling. So it really felt like a cool little homage to the originals.
because Poe didn't meet Rey until Last Jedi,
Yeah, I
which
actually
I
thought
don't understand.
I thought Poe
I
and
thought,
Rey were gonna get a little some action going on. You know what I'm
you
saying?
know, like, oh.
Like Finn had
Yeah, I love how
Rose,
Poe was like, "Hey, can I kiss you?" He's like, "No." Like,
and then at the end he saw her and he turned his head sideways, like, "How about now?" And she just shook her head no. He's like, "Okay." I don't know if you noticed. So this is my last one, but I don't know if you noticed this. But when Kylo Ren was running through at the very end before he started fighting the knights, he had a blaster, right? And he was running through. He turned to the left, shot someone to the right without looking.
yep.
A little throwback to the Force Awakens when Han did that.
Yep, I did see that. And did you notice the blaster did sound like Han's too? It sounded just like the DL-44. Like not all the shots, but some of the
Yeah,
shots sounded just like it.
yeah. I was like, okay, that was a cool little reference. Maybe Han is Force sensitive, and that's how he's all been. You know, like whatever. But I did think it was cool. I was like, oh, okay, okay, Ben. Um,
Okay.
okay. It was cool though. I did appreciate them doing that. So, but yeah. Do you have any other things?
I do like the way Kylo's character went. It because I've always liked his character. Not like I've liked him at various degrees, like a little more, a
Mm-hmm.
little less. Uh, I definitely like this character a lot in this movie. May even be one of my favorite characters in this movie because of the way he flipped and I don't know, he just went off with the lightsaber at the end. I don't know, he really just snapped.
He really did snap. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything else, I mean, I guess we can just kind of end it. I mean, that was pretty much our whole review on the movie. You know,
Yeah. So what do we think is gonna happen with the next trilogy that the new saga
I
the
don't.
new
So they have two that they're developing. They have the one that's the Game of Thrones developers, and then they have the one by Ryan Johnson. Personally,
mm-hmm.
I I don't have anything against Ryan Johnson because I went and watched one or two of his other films after watching The Last Jedi, and he's not a bad director at all. I just don't think that his direction for Star Wars would be good. But it could be different because
Mm-hmm.
now he's going to do a completely new trilogy that has nothing to do with this. But from a
So he
finance
can pretty much go like balls to the wall
and do whatever he wants, and it wouldn't
with it.
matter. And people won't be like, "Well, that's not, that doesn't follow this." Well, it doesn't have to because there's no story before it that he's following. He's following his own story.
I also feel weird about that because I'm like, how is that gonna be? How are you gonna call it Star Wars and it not be anything Star Wars related? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of. I'm maybe I can see they do like a point of view of somebody in the galaxy who doesn't know about all this stuff happening behind the scenes, but they,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know because that's the only thing I'm worried about because like how do you take something like Star Wars and redo it and but not make it Star Wars? Like how do you make it still good and it not be Star Wars and be able to call it that?
Yeah, and
Because
they haven't even released what his ideas are on what he's gonna do. Like I know that the Game of Thrones directors said that they were interested in doing things on the Old Republic, which I thought is great.
yeah, I did see that. That's gonna be cool. They need to touch on that because that's very unappreciated.
And
There's like
The Game of Thrones series was so well like accepted by everyone that I think that they would do a good job.
yeah.
Because I mean,
If it's anywhere like half as good as The Mandalorian, then
yeah, it'll be good. The main thing with Ryan Johnson is from a business standpoint. And again, like The Last Jedi was a good movie. I just didn't really. It wasn't my favorite, and the direction they took it wasn't as good. But
mm-hmm.
from such a like critically, it was received well, but from fans, it was like one of the worst. Besides Solo, but I think Solo did bad because of The Last Jedi. So I'm not even going to talk about Solo. Um, but because of The Last Jedi, like why would you have someone that directed such a poorly reviewed fan movie do a whole
do an
trilogy?
entire trilogy.
Yeah, like maybe one movie to see what happens is okay, but a whole trilogy, like you're gonna contract him for a whole trilogy. I don't know about that. But I don't know. He could pull something out of his butt, and it could be great. Actually, who knows? You know,
Maybe, I don't
I
know. I just and the like if he does do a good job, that'd be nice if he can make it feel like Star Wars, but it not be Star Wars. That'd be pretty excellent.
yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm sad. There's no more Star Wars movies coming out.
I
It's not
mean,
like actual movies, like
yeah.
Skywalker saga movie.
I mean, I'm not really interested in order of what's going on. I think where things are mainly going to go is with TV shows. Like the movies aren't going to be as big of a thing that people are anticipating anymore. I think
Mm-hmm.
people anticipated it a lot with Rogue One and The Force Awakens, and then with the backlash of The Last Jedi, I think less people were anticipating Solo, which is why not a lot of people went. So they were more
Mm-hmm.
anticipating this movie, but I think that's partially due to The Mandalorian because The Mandalorian did so well. Like it's done so well.
I
Um,
love that show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I just
yeah,
love it.
yeah,
The Baby Yoda show is just amazing, and
yeah. I mean, I have Disney Plus, so I've been keeping up to date with everything, and the show's great. I mean, and especially when they finally come out with the Kenobi series. My God, that's it's. I'm telling you, I think the way that they're gonna go
was
is
it?
they're gonna do TV shows and stuff. So,
Yeah,
um,
especially with Marvel. Marvel's doing the same thing with the What If series, and
the Falcon
they
and the
have the
Winter Soldier.
Shang-Chi, all that. Like that's gonna be pretty dope.
But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen with Star Wars. But I don't know. I feel like they're gonna start steering away from Force users for a little bit, and they're gonna stay more on like average people, like the Mandalorian. And then when Kenobi
They need to.
and then
Oof.
when Kenobi comes out, they're gonna use him as the center of the Force. You know, like okay, well we have our Jedi in the spotlight right now, so
Yeah.
that's what I think's gonna happen. So, all
But
right, so we're good.
I was gonna say. Oh, so next is the Lego game.
I know.
That's next.
I cannot wait for Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga 2.0.
It's I can't wait, dude. The game's gonna be so fun.
I I told my girlfriend, I was like, when this comes out, I just want you to know there's gonna be a solid probably day and a half where I'm not gonna want to do anything, and like I'm just gonna need to be alone, just like on my
I'm just gonna need some
PlayStation.
alone time.
Yeah, I just need to focus on me. I need me time, babe. So,
you
uh,
know, let's take like a day or two break. I just need to really figure out these puzzles on Lego Star Wars.
find all the red bricks.
Yeah, I
Um,
gotta find all the red bricks.
but yeah, that's gonna be hype. I can't wait. So, all right,
So yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
it.
it. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's all. That's pretty much hype and coming out, right?
Yeah, just about.
All right, sick. I guess we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for watching the or video or podcast, depending on what you're listening slash watching on YouTube or Spotify. Check it out. We'll be coming out with some new ones soon, probably after New Year's, so that'll be sick. And then of course we'll do one when Lego Star Wars comes out, and we'll talk about that for a full hour.
Right.
So yeah, all right, cool. Well, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.